Thank you, Ms. Weber. I think your point is clear that, you know, what
I request your aye vote.
okay, we have a couple of members who wish to speak as well. So my first grade is today's kindergarten. I think that's your point. With that, Mr. Chavez.
Yes, I'm doing a couple of meetings at the same time, and I was watching this on TV, but I wanted to make a comment because in my district, I received hundreds of calls on this issue. In preparation for it, I actually visited Palmquist Elementary and went down to kindergarten, first grade, and saw the children last week. And I have talked to the superintendents in my in my district, a couple of them, about their thought on this issue. As everybody's already said, you know, 95, 96% of the children already go to kindergarten. I agree with the chair. Common Core has standards. It's recognizing that. We also know that in the first 3 years, children coming into school is so critical in how they see school and prepared. And when I was talking to the kindergarten teachers and the first grade teachers, they're saying they can clearly tell when children are involved in early cognitive development, 0 through 5, that children come ready to learn. And they can tell the kids that aren't. The kids that don't know colors or how to hold a pencil or any of those things that a lot of us take for granted. And as I've stated a number of times, as a Republican who strongly believes in education, 0 through 5, cognitive development is extremely important. It's not a child care issue, it's development. And we know that 90% of their intellectual capacity is developed during the first 5 years. So I'm going to support this because it's the right thing to do. Probably get some more calls and emails on this thing.
Me too.
But and that's good because education is my biggest issue, I think, defining society. And we need to continue to invest in the development of our members in society. So thank you very much, Ms. Webb, for bringing this through. I'm not as articulate or passionate at beating the tables, but I think I...
As long as you say aye, it's passionate.
I'm actually not going to say aye because that's a Navy term. I'll say yes because that's a Marine term. Thank you.
Mr. Thurman.
I don't want to follow either one of those, but I do have some feelings about this item, and I received all those calls that you received, Assemblymember Chavez. I think they all called my office as well, and from now on I'm going to tell them just to call you and skip calling me. But I thought that this was an automatic, and until I got all those phone calls, I thought that kindergarten was something that everybody did. I've learned that it is a matter of personal preference, and I respect that. I really do. I can't help, though, but think about this from the standpoint of what our kids lose when they don't have the opportunity at kindergarten. And I've had a chance to work with so many families where the family approached kindergarten as play school instead of recognizing that this is, in fact, school, and that we have a crisis in California where hundreds of thousands of children miss more than 10% of school every year. And it costs and the kids who miss the most amount of school are in the grades from kindergarten through 3rd grade. And it costs these very young people sometimes the ability to learn to read by 3rd grade. And with all that has changed in our educational system, with all the complexities of our educational system, we must give our children the opportunity to get a first-rate education. And that begins with kindergarten. Now, I'm also a believer that preschool gives us a great start and a head start. And there are volumes of studies that show that. And I would ask those that are concerned or hesitant to consider what our kids will lose by not being given the opportunity to have a kindergarten education, to get on the right path towards literacy by 3rd grade, towards strong attendance backgrounds. And not only does it hurt our young people academically and socially, the state of California loses about $1 billion worth of ADA revenue every single year simply because kids from the grades kindergarten through 3rd grade are not attending school. Now, it comes as no surprise, we've introduced a bill that will address truancy prevention for kids in grades kindergarten through 3rd. And we see this as a very important conversation. I want to thank the author for bringing it forward, and we look forward to working with you as you move it forward. And I hope that those who are undecided, all those parents who are here today, will consider this not as taking away a family value, but instead providing a value of learning and support to our youngest kids. Thank you to the author.
Ms. Kim.
I would like to ask the author if you would consider, for example, the parents whose children did not attend kindergarten but show proficiency in advancing directly to first grade when their children are ready to come to schools, instead of putting them back 1 year because they're 6 years old, but they didn't go to kindergarten, but they show proficiency because their parents at home probably held them because they wanted to provide their education on their own and or send it to different school system. If you show that proficiency, would you allow an amendment to let the children go directly to first grade? My problem is the cost issue. By mandating this, consider the cost that right now we're already sitting on a lot of, we have a lot of needs, and we have such a restricted funds that we need to work with. And I believe you understand where I'm coming from. It's the mandate that causes the state to come up with more funds that we don't have. So that's where my concern is.
Funding is the least of our concern when it comes to kindergarten.
Like I said, I'm a mother of 4 kids. I understand all kids went to kindergarten. I get it.
Funding is the least of our concern when it comes to this because it's under Prop 98. But in addition to that, the option for parents to still homeschool their kids, if that's what they're doing, under the guidance of the school board, they can do that. And if they do that and things are at a level that when they go to school and they can demonstrate they have certain proficiency, that's the school control. Schools can do that. This doesn't do anything that a normal
your bill
program
will mandate this.
the bill mandates that you have to have had kindergarten instruction. But as we know, there are many times kids go to private schools, they do homeschooling. We're mandated to have school. But you can also go to your school board and you can get alternative instruction like homeschooling. You can do homeschooling on your own. I have a niece who's homeschooled her kids their entire life, and that's an option. But she was under the guidance, and she had to adhere to the curriculum of her school district in California and in Colorado, where she lives now.
Ms. Kim, I can probably clear this up because either way, it's a mandate.
Yeah.
So, the mandate question has been answered, and it's affirmative on either proposition.
Yeah.
So, did you wish to comment further? If you could quickly.
Maybe you can make some clarification on this so that I will feel comfortable. But the cause, again, by mandating this through this legislation, we are asking the state to spend more money. Right now, it's already there. The school districts can have a choice, but you're saying, it's not my understanding, however. Your bill will mandatorily allow the 6-year-old that is ready to start school to go back and start at kindergarten, even though they may be ready to start at first grade. Clarification? There is no option here.
That is my understanding is the intent of the bill.
The intent of the bill, if they don't have the adequate competencies to go to first grade that's judged by their school and their classroom, they will go to kindergarten. Right. Yes.
But
that would be to the advantage of the child. I can tell you that. If you have a 6-year-old coming to school without any...
My request was to make sure that if they come at 6-year-old, if they're ready for first grade, proving the proficiency, then they let them go straight to first grade.
That is always an option at local school boards. That is always an option in the local school districts.
But your bill clearly states, I'm reading it right here, at age...
Let me be clear. Let me just clarify this
regardless of
right
whether
now.
the child demonstrates competency, they have to start at kindergarten.
And the analysis, please let me finish. The bill requires you to go to kindergarten. You can do it at age 6. You can do it at age 5. If you support that, you want to support the bill. If you do not support that, you do not want to support the bill. But either way, it is a mandate. It's very clear. I think you understand education very simply. It's learn to read, right? And then it's read to learn. This bill isn't really about kindergarten. It's about how you end up in the 3rd and 4th grade, because if you don't read at grade level by 4th grade, statistically, you never will.
You never will.
And you're on a very tragic track then, and that is what Ms. Weber, I'm sure, is trying to address here.
And I commend that because, again, I totally understand that early...
Ms. Kim, if you could sum up, please, though.
Okay. Early education is important. I get it. I support that. But I'm reading this law, the current section. It says, basically, Beginning with the 2017 and 18 school year, a child shall have completed 1 year of kindergarten before he or she may be admitted to the first grade. It basically says, to me, you can skip a second grade, but you cannot skip kindergarten.
Thank you. Mr. Thurman, if you could be quick, we need to.
Yeah, it's a question really to the author, because in this discussion, I understood something that Dr. Weber said, and I don't know if this will help Assemblymember Kim, that even with this mandate, if a 6-year-old comes to school ready to meet whatever those standards are, just like kids get skipped in grades, Dr. Weber, I believe you're saying that the school district will have its own guidelines for how a 6-year-old might be able to still go to first grade if they demonstrate proficiency at grade level. Is that what I was understanding you to be saying?
If you enter any, yes, if you enter any public school, say for instance you've been homeschooled for K through 3, and you end up coming to the school in 4th grade, and you can validate that you've had instruction K through 3, they're going to put you in 4th grade. They're not going to put you in kindergarten, they're going to put you in 4th grade. Those are local decisions made at the curriculum level of a school district. What we're saying in the state is that kindergarten is required. The curriculum of kindergarten is required. You can take it at 5 years old or you can take it at 6, but you have to have the kindergarten. You need to go to kindergarten.
Thank you, Ms. Weber.
Okay. And I ask for your support.
Close real quick. I didn't hear that.
I just asked for your I vote.
That's for our vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do
Move the
we
bill.
have a motion on that?
Move the bill.
Move, second. Secretary will call the roll. Mr. Chavez, seconds.
The motion is due pass to appropriations. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez.
Yes.
Chavez,
I almost got you.
yes. Kim? Kim, no. McCarty? Santiago? Thurman? Thurman, aye. Weber?
Aye.
Weber, aye.
Ms. Weber, can you add me as a co-author as the bill moves forward?
Yes, most definitely.
Ms. Weber, would you also ask me as a co-author?
Okay, we'll do.
Do
My staff will get you the material. Okay.
The bill passes 4-1. Do pass to appropriations.
You want me to do the other or just wait?
Can we wait, please? Because we have members who have been very patient coming in and out. Mr. Ashajian. Mr. Dottie is ahead of you on the list. You just. Ashajian is. What's his bill number? 1133. 20. Mr. Ashajian, if you could open.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I'm here to present AB 1133, which will create a 4-year prevention and early intervention pilot program to help the students from preschool to 3rd grade experiencing school adjustment problems such as isolation, anxiety, and bullying. This legislation will create a 4-year pilot program that will help to provide mental health intervention and prevention support services for children. Specifically, the pilot program would help local education agencies, LEAs, by supporting, strengthening, and expanding in early mental health services that have continued to produce results despite the cancellation of the state's Early Mental Health Initiative matching funds, and will support new school that chooses to provide these services. Previously, the Early Mental Health Initiative state matching grants awarded funds to LEAs to provide school-based mental health support to young students experiencing mild to moderate school adjustment difficulties. The program was highly successful, and the last report found it a 79% success rate. Unfortunately, the Early Mental Health Initiative state matching grant program was defunded in 2012 and has lacked administration since the Department of Mental Health was eliminated in 2011 and 2012 budget. In this new era, where education funds are dictated by the local school districts, now is the perfect time for this type of support from the state to LEAs. It is important that we get these children connected to the services that they need so that they may be successful today. I have with me Ben Rubin and Children Now and Arthur Singer from Time for Kids as the sponsors of this legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and if you have any questions, be happy to answer. If you like witnesses,
if your witnesses could present, please.
Thank you. Ben Rubin on behalf of Children Now, co-sponsor of the bill. For 20 years, the Early Mental Health Initiative, otherwise known as EMI, provided matching grants to LEAs to provide school-based mental health supports for young pupils who experience school adjustment difficulties. The program was enormously successful. At its peak, it served over 15,000 children per year and had a very high success rate. Nearly 4 out of 5 participating students showed improvements. And the external evaluator of the program characterized the magnitude of the improvements as exceptional in comparison to other programs. As the author indicated, the Emmy grant matching program was defunded and is lacking administration. As a result, the programs that were created to provide Emmy services now lack support and are becoming increasingly difficult to maintain as staff turns over and expertise that was gained over many years is lost. AB 1133 does not seek to revive the grant matching program, but consistent with the local control of funding decisions, the bill instead would provide non-financial supports to schools that choose to spend local funds to support the mental health needs of their young students. The rationale for AB 1133 is ultimately the same as the rationale given when the Emmy program was created. It's in California's best interest, both in economic and human terms, to identify and treat minor difficulties that our children are experiencing before those difficulties become major barriers to later success. Thank you for your consideration.